AI, as we know, is artificial intelligence, right? There are two words. One is artificial, another one is intelligence.
Okay.
So I'll break it down into two phases, right?
Sure.
So we know what is artificial, which is not natural, is artificial.
Yeah.
Intelligence is, something we are born with, probably, right? Humans have intelligence because we see things, we learn from those things, and then apply it.
Got it.
That is intelligence, right? When earlier intelligence only used to be with somebody like humans, right? But now a machine can also have that intelligence, and that is, in a nutshell, is artificial intelligence, if you ask me.
Okay. So also, Pratap, AI has existed worldwide for decades. What has changed in the last few years that everyone is talking about AI?
So I think the AI started somewhere around 90s, right? Then it was known as analytics after that, right? But later on, in somewhere around 2017, Google came up with a paper called Transformers, right? And that gave birth to something called generative AI, right? And around 2019, ChatGPT launched GPT 2.0.
Okay.
Many of us would not know that GPT 2.0 was there in 2019.
Yeah.
We came to know about it in 2022, November 30th, 2022.
Sure.
Before ChatGPT also, there was another model which came up, something called Stable Diffusion, around August 22nd, 2022, right? And then ChatGPT came in November 30. And since then, a lot of things changed because generative AI was the second revolution of AI, right? Before that, it was more analytical, it was of that sort, but it was not able to generate anything. When ChatGPT 3.5 came on, right, with that, it was able to generate new things.
Okay.
When I say new things, it was able to generate new words. That is why it is called a language model or a large language model, right?
Okay.
And so before ChatGPT came, it was only limited to people who are doing some kind of, let's say, work with AI, right? With generative AI, it changed because it brought in the natural language as a medium of communication, right? Earlier, probably it was more analytical, where you had to do it through some tools like Power BI or any of such tools, right? But with ChatGPT, natural language came, and that is when it became really like widespread. A lot of people started using it, right? And since then, last 2.5 years, the generative AI market has really exploded. Now, if you see, there are thousands of companies around the world who are doing research on generative AI. Every week, there are one or two new models that are coming up. So I think ChatGPT and Stable Diffusion was the inflection point, and that is what led to the second wave of AI, which is generative AI.
Okay. And also, Pratap, is it because of the end interface that end users like a common man like us is able to interact and get an output? Is it also one of the reasons why it is widespread right now?
Absolutely. Because as I said, natural language, because all of us understand natural language. If you ask me to write some code, probably not everybody would use it, right? But what ChatGPT did was a chat interface where you ask anything in your own language, it was able to understand, and then was able to give you a response. And that was the wow factor that many people felt, right? Before that, it was not there. So, of course, natural language and the chat interface, these two things actually changed the way we perceived artificial intelligence.
Okay. What are the different types of AI? And could you please break that down for me?
Yeah. So, as of today, if you ask me, there are 4 types of AI that I see, right? The first one was the traditional AI that we used till ChatGPT came, right? After that, the era that came was that of generative AI, right, which I just explained. The third type of AI, which is currently trending, is agentic AI.
Okay.
And the fourth one, which is emerging at this point of time, is physical AI.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, these are the 4 types of AI.
If you could especially break down the agent AI and the physical AI for us.
Traditionally, when we look at generative AI, I think all of us would have used ChatGPT, right? When we ask a question, it gives us an answer. Right, and it doesn't do anything beyond that. It is very good at giving responses, right? With agentic AI, that goes one level up. It would not just give you answers, but it would do that thing for you.
Okay.
Right, so that is the main difference. So what happens is, when you have an answering system, and you give it certain tools to act, right? That is when it becomes agentic. So there are essentially three components of agentic AI. One is the LLM or the brain of the agent. The second one is the tool. Tool like it could be Gmail, it could be a CRM system, it could be something like WhatsApp, right? Typically humans use these tools to perform tasks, right? So that is the tool aspect. The third thing is memory, where an agent is able to remember certain things about your past interaction and improve based on that memory. Right? That is what typically we humans do, right? When we work for somebody or when we meet somebody, we remember certain aspect about that meeting, and when we meet that person next time, we remember certain thing, and based on that memory, our interaction is saved. Now, same thing happens in a machine world, where you combine these tool and a brain and a memory. They would be mimicking human behavior, and that's an agent.
Wow. So, Pratap, generative AI would be like me interacting with ChatGPT or Gemini, and I get responses. Based on your explanation of agent AI, please let me know if my understanding is right. AI solution should be able to send email responses to the sender based on my past behavior. That is an agent AI. So
Absolutely.
I receive emails on Gmail, and it should auto respond based on the sender, based on the past history or a memory, and respond appropriately. That's an agent AI.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay.
And in that time, it would not just generate the response. It would think about what is that email that it has received, and reason and plan about it, and then create a response and then send it. Right? It would not just blindly write something and send it. Right?
Got it.
So that's
thought process is on and it. So can you give few other examples of agent AI in life?
Let's say graphic design, right? Earlier, a graphic designer would come, he would think what needs to be designed and use a tool like Adobe Photoshop or whatever tools are available to design something, right? And now that entire process can be automated, where the graphic designer needs to come, but instead of using these traditional tools and thinking so much, this graphic designer can just ask it to the agent that, hey, I need a image which has these three things, and the agent would go back, do the planning, and choose the right kind of image model and generate that image. And if you want to edit it, of course it would be able to edit it, right? That's one example which is relevant in the case of marketing, right? But if I take for a personal use case, right, I have built an agent for my daughter, and this agent can narrate stories.
Wow.
Okay. So my daughter asks me a lot of questions. Papa, how does it rain? Why does sun rises in the east, right? And I can answer it, but being a busy professional, always it is not possible, right? So that is when I built an agent where every day this agent would generate a bedtime story for her, send it to WhatsApp, and it can do it in my voice as well, right? So it's like narrating a story myself, but I don't have to remember so many stories and stuff like that, right? So that's a simple use case. If you look at complex use cases in business scenarios, there are, I think, agents who can do customer service, agents who can automate your marketing, right? Agents who can probably do shopping on behalf of you.
So Pratap, what is the difference between AI and AGI, artificial general intelligence? Are we close to it?
Okay, I think that's a question which probably nobody can answer at this point of time, right? AGI, there is no clear definition. If you ask different people, they will have very, very different answers. But what typically AGI is something which we can do currently, AGI would be able to do. In current scenario, if you see agentic AI, right, these agents are good at a particular task, right? They are trained on a particular task. Like I said, the graphic designer, that agent can do graphic design. But when we achieve AGI or artificial general intelligence, that agent can do everything that a human can do, right? So the intelligence level is much more. And we really do not know when we achieve AGI what would happen, because that's like an event horizon, right? Nobody can predict what happens after that. So I think we are, I don't know, if you ask industry experts, somebody would say we are 5-10 years behind. Somebody would say probably 20 years. Somebody would say probably we don't know, right? But if you ask, let's say, AI leaders like Sam Altman, He's saying we are in couple of years we'll achieve AGI, but
Okay.
after that we don't know what would happen.
Okay. So generative AI is just basic response. Your agentic AI provides a solution, specific solution. AGI would involve everything like a human being. You could ask a bot to do whatever you want to,
Absolutely.
and be your companion.
Absolutely. And probably AGI, in AGI they can create themselves. You remember the movie Matrix, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So you remember Mr. Smith?
yeah.
Probably that was a version of AGI where it is able to replicate itself and
Okay.
improve itself over a period of time, right? So it can create systems on its own. That's what at least people are saying. So probably, yeah, we are not very far from that.
Interesting times ahead.